in the early 1830s and even prior to that, people have always been trying to make inanimate objects, that is, things that are not alive, appear to look like they're moving. They would do things like shadow puppets and the sort, and this would be very entertaining to each other and to the children especially. However, it wasn't until the early 1830s that people started to make drawings look like they're moving. The way they did this was by taking two different drawings, one that was in one position and another one that was in another position. And all they would do is just flip them back and forth so that the position changes when you're looking at it. These are very simple drawings that can be looped back and forth. So it could be something as simple as putting a hat on and taking a hat off, but it was only two drawings. However, it did appear to move. Now, of course, it didn't really move. It was called an optical illusion. And that's what animation is. It's simply tricking your eye and your brain into seeing something that's not really happening. You see, your eyes and your brain cannot detect things after a certain speed. It doesn't see the individual details when it's moving very quickly in front of your eyes. So by flipping the paper back and forth, you're moving it so quickly in front of your eyes that it cannot see the separate sheets of paper with the separate drawings, and it kind of combines them together. And that's where you get the optical illusion of a person doing something very quickly and very simple, like taking his hat off.
The first germ of the idea of moving pictures is found in a child's toy, the Zoetrope. If you twirl the disc rapidly, the images seem to form a new and completely different picture. It is, of course, an optical illusion.
It wasn't until 1834 that an English mathematician whose name was William George Horner took it to the next logical step. He created this little device that he called a daedalum. Now, a daedalum is a cylinder made out of thick paper with little slits in it, and inside this daedalum, you would put a series of different drawings in proper sequence. Like you remember, we talked about sequential art in the previous video. I have it listed down below. And these sequential pieces of art, when you spin the daedalum and look through these little slits at the images inside, they will appear to look like they're moving. And this is the very first time that a device was created to show animation. Horner was quite proud of his daedalum, and he showed it around to other people who were also interested in it. In fact, there were some artists and inventors that took his idea and worked on it a little bit, and then they're the ones that patented it before Horner did. Well, anyway, when they patented it, they changed its name, and they call it a zoetrope. The zoetrope was such a popular item that just about everyone owned one. If you were very wealthy, you would have one that was extremely ornate. It would be made out of wood with hand paintings on the side of it. It would be very elaborate. If you didn't have a whole lot of money in your family, you might have one that's made out of paper or possibly cardboard. But no matter what type of zoetrope you owned, they all did the same thing. They made people happy. So how does a zoetrope work? Well, I mentioned earlier about the two sheets of paper that have the slightly different drawings on each one of them, and when you flip it in front of your eye very fast, it looks like the object is moving. This is the same idea, only in this case, you have a whole long strip of sequential art in a slightly different position. When you spin the zoetrope, you're looking through that little slit, and that's very important because you need something to block the difference between one image and the next, so it flashes in front of your eye very quickly. When you spin it, you're looking through that slit and you're seeing the images inside the zoetrope, but you're seeing them in stages rather than in a smooth transition. So in this case, you're getting an effect of flipping things in front of your eye very quickly. And because there are more drawings, it looks like more of a movement. So what the artists used to do was they would make a simple movement, but it would be a loop. So when the image starts something, they would end it so that it can start again. So as you spin the zoetrope, you're watching the object moving and doing the exact same thing over and over again, but it's smooth and it's a full sequence of images. Because of the speed that the zoetrope is spinning, it is giving you that distortion that I mentioned earlier, and your eye is not able to see the blank spots in between the slits. So it's flashing in front of your eye so quickly that all you can see is the images drawn on the paper in sequential art inside the zoetrope. And that's what makes it look like a continuous motion animation. It is now time for a bit of trivia, especially for those Star Wars fans out there. In 1969, two young directors decided to start their own motion picture company. They were tired of all of the rules and all of the people that knew nothing about film in the big production studios, that they decided that they want to go off on their own and make their own movies according to what they want to do. Very smart move. You might know two of these directors. One of them is Francis Ford Coppola, and the other one is George Lucas. So what does their movie company have anything to do with what we've been talking about? Because they named their company American Zoetrope. I want to thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. I had a great time talking to you about the beginnings of animation, and if you could just do me a really big favor, I know you've heard it so many times before, but it would really mean a lot to me and help my channel grow if you were to click on that subscribe button and check off on that thumbs up so that we can really make so many more videos for you. And don't forget, please share this with your friends so that they can learn a few things about the beginnings of animation. This is Professor Tom saying thank you so much and have a wonderful day.